Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to bridge the mind-bending scale of the universe with the intimate, high-stakes reality of your everyday life choices. Have you ever caught yourself agonizing over a minor career move? Or honestly, even something as trivial as what to text someone back, feeling just totally paralyzed by these tiny daily decisions? We've all been there. But then, on the flip side, maybe you've looked up at the night sky and felt completely overwhelmed by the sheer incomprehensible size of the cosmos. Well, you are definitely in the right place, because today we're going to connect those two extremes.
The world-renowned theoretical physicist, Dr. Michio Kaku, actually points out something incredibly profound about this exact tension. He notes that the universe itself does not hand us a script with a predefined purpose. There's literally no grand instruction manual that comes with your birth. But, rather than that being a terrifying realization, this blank canvas actually empowers us. It means we have the ultimate freedom to create our own profound meaning. Our purpose isn't just handed down to us on a silver platter, it's built day by day by us.
So, the crucial point we have to consider is this. If you were 80 years old right now, sitting in a comfortable chair, and you had exactly 1 minute to watch a highlight reel of your entire life, what would actually be on it? And perhaps a bit more terrifyingly, what would be missing? Would it be the trips you kept delaying, the chances you didn't take, the version of you that simply never showed up because comfort kept running the battle against courage? That is the ultimate question we're answering today.
Let's dive right into Section 1, a cosmic perspective, looking at the staggering scale of everything. To truly understand the gravity of our everyday choices, we first need to zoom all the way out. Our universe was born from the Big Bang and has been expanding for roughly 14 billion years. 14 billion! That's a time span so huge that it's almost impossible for the human mind to actually grasp. To put that into a perspective we can actually wrap our heads around, imagine compressing the entire 14 billion year history of the universe into a single calendar year. In this cosmic calendar, the Big Bang happens exactly at midnight on January 1st. Human beings, we don't even show up until roughly 10:30 p.m. on December 31st. All of recorded human history, every empire, every war, every triumph, every single tragedy happens in the final few seconds of that year. We are living in a universe that evolved for an absolute eternity before we even arrived on the stage. Zooming in just slightly from the entire universe to our own cosmic neighborhood, we hit another mind-bending number, 100 billion. That's the estimated number of stars in our Milky Way galaxy alone. And remember, the Milky Way is just one of trillions of galaxies out there. When you truly internalize that staggering scale, it beautifully highlights just how incredibly small our daily anxieties really are. Did you send that email to your boss with a glaring typo? Did you stumble over your words in a meeting? Who cares? You live in a galaxy with 100 billion stars. The universe absolutely is not judging your awkward moments. But here's the catch. Against this infinite, timeless, and completely unfazed cosmic backdrop, we are tightly bound by our biology. Deep inside our human cells, we have these microscopic structures called telomeres. Think of them kind of like the little plastic tips at the end of your shoelaces that stop them from fraying. Every single time a cell reproduces, those telomeres get a little bit shorter, a little more frayed. They act as a literal biological clock ticking down inside us. So while we're operating in this virtually infinite space, we are distinctly finite creatures. Our time, biologically speaking, is running out from the very second we're born.
Which brings us to Section 2, the time machine brain, and why we worry about tomorrow. You might wonder, if our time is so incredibly short, why do we spend so much of it worrying about regrets in the first place?
Dr. Kaku brilliantly explains this phenomenon by comparing our minds to the rest of the animal kingdom. Animals live purely, completely in the present. If you look at a lion resting in the savannah, it's focused purely on immediate survival and finding its next meal. It's not exactly having an existential crisis about what it's going to do next Tuesday, right? But humans, we possess a highly developed cerebral cortex. As Dr. Kaku points out, this part of our brain literally acts as a time machine. We just can't help it. We're biologically programmed to constantly thrust ourselves into the future, to simulate what might happen next, all in the name of survival. We are literally the only creatures that actively obsess over a tomorrow that hasn't even happened yet. So let's actively use that future simulating superpower to avoid regret. Moving on to Section 3, prioritizing human connection as the foundation of happiness. To figure out what actually makes a life well lived, researchers undertook something entirely unprecedented with the Harvard Happiness Study. They tracked 268 people across their entire lifespans, starting way back in 1938. This study spanned literal generations. It tracked people through the horrors of World War II, through massive economic crashes, and through huge shifting cultural tides. They wanted to find out what actually brings long-term, unshakable fulfillment. And the result? It wasn't building a massive bank account. It wasn't achieving worldwide fame or corporate power. The single unifying thread for a happy life was close relationships. Deep interpersonal connection remains the single most critical factor for long-term happiness in this vast universe.
Robert Waldinger, the study's director, stated this reality really plainly and quite soberingly.
He said, "Loneliness kills." Neglecting your friends and family doesn't just make you a little sad or melancholic, it is a startlingly lethal physical condition. Chronic loneliness spikes your cortisol levels and drives up inflammation in your body. It is as powerful a risk to your biological vessel as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day or severe alcoholism. Putting time and effort into your core relationships isn't just a nice thing to do. It is literally a matter of life and death. Plus, it's the primary way we make this giant universe feel a little less lonely.
But it's not just about who we know, it's also where we go. Let's look at Section 4, expanding your world and escaping the childhood environment.
The physical spaces we inhabit deeply shape the meaning we create. If you stay in your childhood environment forever, you essentially trap your brain inside a snow globe of your hometown. Your brain wires that local town as your entire known universe. Every street corner, every local drama, and every familiar back alley becomes the absolute limit of your reality. But when you travel, when you intentionally step out of that snow globe to learn new languages and experience entirely new cultures, you fundamentally expand your capacity for life. You stretch your mind. You bring more of that infinite, massive world into your own personal universe, preventing your perspective from just becoming stagnant.
Next up is Section 5, future-proofing your body. This is all about communicating with your future self, because to enjoy those expansive places, you absolutely need your health. You don't prevent massive health regrets by suddenly panicking and reacting when things start breaking down at age 50 or 60. You prevent them by communicating with your future self right now. It starts with initiating diverse, healthy habits early on. Imagine you just do heavy, intense weightlifting 5 days a week for years without ever stretching or resting. Well, eventually, your joints are going to absolutely scream at you. You might look great, but you won't be able to easily bend down to pick up your grandkids. You have to balance that intensity with flexibility, like yoga, and proper restorative rest. It's really about prioritizing long-term functional longevity over short-term peak aesthetics. Give your future self the gift of mobility. Finally, Section 6, the courage to create and sharing your unique voice. This is where the meaning we create takes its final, most personal form.
We all face a massive, reoccurring fork in the road of life. On one side, you can choose to play it perfectly safe. You can take the soulless, predictable job because it offers security and it doesn't rock the boat. But the psychological result of that safety is almost always widespread, deep-seated regret and an inner voice that goes entirely unexpressed. On the flip side, you can take a leap. You can hedge a bet on your creative gut instinct. Now sure, taking that leap might lead to potential mistakes or even public failures, but the psychological payoff, it's immense. You actually express your creativity, you put your dent in the universe, and most importantly, you avoid that deep, aching regret of reaching the end of your life and realizing you left your true inner voice completely unheard.
So, to bring all of this together into a bit of a cheat sheet, here are the 5 core ways to actively create your own meaning. Nurture your close relationships like your life depends on it, because, well, it does. Travel beyond the borders of your hometown snow globe. Learn about new cultures and challenge your perspectives. Protect your long-term health by making choices today that your 80-year-old self is going to thank you for. And finally, take those creative leaps. This is exactly how you fill up that 80-year highlight reel before the painful what-ifs become all that remain of your finite time.
Remember, the universe has been here for 14 billion years, and it absolutely isn't going to hand you a purpose on a silver platter. It is entirely up to you. So the only question left for us to answer is, what meaning will you choose to create today, right now, before your biological clock runs out? Really think about that as you go through the rest of your day.